Let's say that you and your wife are walking out to your car late one night after having dinner with some friends. A figure in black approaches you and is holding a gun to you and demanding all your money, valuables, whatever you may have. The person takes those items and runs, and the police catch up with that person about 3 blocks away. When they return to the scene of the crime, they inform you that that suspect is a juvenile. Does the fact that that person is a juvenile make you feel any less violated or like maybe they deserve a lesser punishment? No. The answer is plain. It's no. We need to make sure that the justice system is not failing us when it comes to punishing the juvenile offenders. It's a duty of us as a society. It is important that we understand some of the crimes that can be committed by a juvenile and the severity of them and how often they occur. These crimes can range anything from property crimes to drug offenses or to personal and violent crimes. Property crimes can range from burglary, vandalism, to motor vehicle theft. There were over 300,000 arrests alone in the year of 2012 in the U.S. for property crimes. 53,800 of those were made for burglary. 59,900 of those were made for vandalism, and over 13,000 of those were made for motor vehicle thefts. Next is a very important topic: drugs. Drug offenses. It's a harsh reality to think that any child could be sucked into the whirlpool of the dangers of drugs. The addiction, the lies and manipulations that they cause. However, there are a lot more than people realize. In the year 2012, there were more than 140,000 arrests alone made for drug offenses. This can include possession of drug paraphernalia such as pipes or needles, up to possession of the drugs themselves or intent to distribute or anything falling along those lines. Something else that practically falls under drugs is driving under the influence, because it can be drugs or alcohol, and there were over 9,000 arrests in the year of 2012 for driving under the influence. Now tell me that putting a juvenile in rehab or a treatment program does not make you wonder if they see that as a punishment for the crime that they've committed. Most of those crimes are felonies. The only one that may not be is the driving under the influence. Lastly, the violent crimes. That is an extremely serious category, although the numbers are not quite as high. I like to believe that any crime is a serious crime. None of them have a small impact on a family or a victim or even the offender. It can impact the rest of their life, especially if they're a juvenile. In 2012, 57,000 plus arrests were made for aggravated robbery and assault. The first example that I gave you with being robbed outside of your car would be a perfect example of robbery and assault, because they rob you, and then the assault, aggravated assault part is where they held a gun to you. That, in most cases, that is, in an adult world, that is punishable to life in prison. Another serious crime that could be committed is rape. There were over 2,500 arrests made on juveniles in the year 2012, and there were over 700 arrests for murder or homicide or negligent homicide. It's serious. The children are out of control. These juveniles are out of control. They have no idea what they're getting themselves into when they get sucked into the world of the drugs, and it starts in small crimes. It really does. It starts in small crimes. Keep that in mind the next time that you're put into a situation where you have to look into or view how they should be punished accordingly to the crime they committed. Juveniles are capable of property crimes, they are capable of drug offenses, and even violent crimes. It is important that juveniles who commit these crimes be punished, not by sending them to rehab or putting them in a house arrest or putting them into a behavioral center. We need to put them in prison. In juvenile prison, they should be held to the same standard as an adult offender. It's important that we as a community keep our children and our neighbors and our families safe.